All right, everybody, welcome back to part 4 of the 2026 VHS collection overview. We're already off to a good start. I already got frogs hanging around in my throat, but let's go ahead and let's just get into it. We're still working on the first shelf here. We are on the second row, or the second shelf, the back row rather. I did take out the top because I have to adjust some things. I have to move some things around, and it's just easier to do it that way. But let's go ahead, and this part we should be able to get this entire shelf done, and then we'll work on the back shelf here. So let's just do it. So first up, we have The Adventures of Pinocchio, with the really cool, always really like that, the 3D cover, holographic cover, whatever you want to call it, like the Pokemon cards. I did not pay $19.99 for this at a CVS because the sticker is on there, but this is another movie I always enjoyed. Steve Barron directed it, who did the first Ninja Turtles movie and then Coneheads. Fun movie. I do have the one thing that the DVD was missing was the lenticular art. The DVD didn't have that, but I don't think this movie did that well when it came out, but it'd be cool to see it on Blu-ray. But I do have it on VHS. This is another one that I would rent a lot back in the day. The funniest moment in this movie for me is there's a scene where a bird flies into like a door, and Rob Schneider keeps moving it, and the bird keeps going, caw, 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 even though the bird's supposed to be dead. So I always thought that was funny. And then Martin Landau, of course, played Geppetto. At the end of the movie, Jonathan Taylor Thomas says to him, he hands him a pile of wood, and he goes, "Hey, Papa, why don't you make me a girlfriend?" And he said, 5 minutes he's been a boy, and he already wants a girlfriend. I'm managgia, which in Italian means like, oh my God. So I just always laugh when he says that, because it reminds me of my grandparents. So there you go. Next up, we have Double Dragon, The Shield of Shadow Khan, which this is, again, standard operating procedure as far as animated series and even some live action series went, where they would just edit a few of the episodes together to make a movie to try to sell you, that it's a movie, but it's really not. But sorry, I feel it. I feel it in there. I feel a burp coming. There it goes. Sorry. But yeah, that's the standard deal that they would do back in the day, which is very cool. But yeah, I think it's I don't think it's a multi-part episode. I think there was 2 episodes that had this kid in it reading off of the back. He was a video gamer, and those episodes are in here, and then they stuck another one in here as well, which is cool. They did do some other Double Dragon cartoon releases, but they were just episodic releases, which we'll get into later. They're in here somewhere, because those just came out as the standard slip covers, so there you go. But always like that cartoon. I didn't even know I do remember watching it as a kid when it was originally on. I didn't know there was any home video releases till one day I was in a Dollar General and they had one, and I bought it, and I still have that one again somewhere in here. It is on Blu-ray, actually. Oddly enough, that is on Blu-ray. Alright, moving on. Dunstan Checks In, another childhood favorite. This one has definitely seen some better days, but I don't remember where I got this one at. But another Fox family feature banner there on top, which is very cool. But fun movie. Always enjoyed this one. Again, I don't think it did that well when it first came out. Apparently this is a rental from somewhere, because it says, "Be kind, please rewind." Even though I do not rewind my tapes after I watch them. So, because you have to remember, it stretches the tape out, so I only rewind them if I'm gonna watch the movie, because I don't want to watch it and then rewind it, and it's, you have to let it rest. So there you go. but it's okay. But yeah, always like this movie. No Blu-ray, sadly. It's stuck on DVD because it's now it's Disney, but it's a Fox title that didn't make money. So there you go. Then we have, I don't have the second one. Actually, I don't think I have the second one. I think I only have the first one. At least out of my collection, maybe in my grandparents' collection, the second one is in there, but I don't think so. But we have a Goofy movie, which I love this movie. And this is the Gold collection, the Disney Gold collection. I think they were doing these, it might have been when the Millennium hit, because I don't see a copyright date anywhere on here, whether it's the tape itself or the packaging. But I want to say, yeah, around the Millennium, they were doing these. You know, they were coming out of the vault. So there you go. But what's really cool is that this does have an episode of Goof Troop on here as a bonus feature, which is nice. And then they did change up the artwork a little bit. I feel it. Sorry, I felt it. I'm allergic to the bullshit that Disney would put these movies in the vault, which I find that now absolutely hilarious because everything's on streaming now. But, you know, back in the day, you know, they were in the vault and whatever. But yeah, love this movie. I think it's a classic. It was always one of my favorites. My grandparents had the original release, which had different artwork, so, but that's in the other room. Next up, we have so there you go. But we have The Lion King, which I've had this forever. So since it first came out on VHS back in the day. And this is part of the Masterpiece Collection, even though it doesn't say it on the front. So there you go. But yeah, I agree. It is a classic. And I know I say this all the time, I might have seen The Lion King in the theaters when it first came out. I want to say that I did, but I'm not entirely sure. I like vaguely, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe I did, maybe I didn't. I don't know. Anyway, but I did see this one in the theaters, but we have Hercules, which is another all-time favorite. I have not seen this movie in forever. A lot of these Disney movies I have not watched in forever for whatever reasons, but Hercules is a classic. Absolutely love this one. Again, this is a part of the Masterpiece Collection. It just does not say it on the front. They might have done for Lion King and Hercules and some of the other ones where it doesn't say. They may have re-released them where it does have the banner on top there. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but they may have. But yes, I did see this in the theater back in the day. I had actually, it's gone now, but I did have the popcorn bucket. Before every movie got a popcorn bucket, there was certain movies back in the day that did, and Hercules was one of them, and I did have it, but it's gone now, sadly. Next up, we have Small Soldiers. Very underrated movie. Always loved this film. It's a shame it didn't do well because I would love to have seen a franchise and a sequel and stuff like that. Of course, they did video games and stuff, but it would have been cool if maybe it would have got a cartoon. Or now, I mean, you could still do it now. You can do an animated film. Sadly, most of the Commando Elite is gone, but you can get sound alikes and such. But yeah, I mean, it's a kids movie, but it's not really a kids movie. You know what I mean? But always just had a lot of fun with this movie, and just a shame that this movie did not get a franchise. But love Small Soldiers. Next up, sorry, we have one of the most depressing movies ever made, Charlotte's Web. I mean, yes, it is. If you, it really is. If you really look at the film, it's pretty depressing. But it is a classic, and for whatever reason, Charlotte's Web is stuck on DVD. I don't know why. I don't know why this has never come out on Blu-ray. I don't understand. Which is why I've kind of held off on buying the DVD because I'm just waiting for Paramount to put this out on Blu-ray. I don't know if it has anything to do with E.B. White, E.B. White's estate or whoever's in charge of it. Maybe that's what's holding it back. Maybe Hanna-Barbera, because they were involved with this movie. Maybe there's a beef with money there, which is typically what happens. But as of now, I only have this on VHS. Great movie, yes, but it's very depressing. So there you go. Next up we have Jungle to Jungle, which might be my favorite live action Tim Allen film. Either this or Galaxy Quest. I don't know. Santa Claus is in there too, so I don't know. But this is when Tim Allen, Home Improvement was towards the back end of its run, so he started doing more movies and such after Santa Claus was a big hit. But I really enjoyed this film. Always really liked this movie. Another one that's actually this might have a Blu-ray from the Disney Movie Club. I do have it on DVD. Excuse me, but it might. I'm not entirely sure. Do not quote me. But always had a lot of fun with it, with this movie. Always really enjoyed it. It is a remake of a French film. Let me see if it says the name of the French movie. Sorry. It does, but the print is way too small. I can't even see it, so my bad. But always liked that film. Always had quite a bit of fun with it. And Martin Short is in. Unfortunately, his daughter just passed away. So sorry to hear that. May you move forward in peace, my friend. Anyway, next up we have King Arthur and the Knights of Justice. This is King Arthur's Camelot, which was a 90s cartoon that I may have watched it when it was originally on. I don't remember, but I actually found this at a Family Dollar. There was the old house when I first started here on YouTube. Up the street, like a quarter of a mile, if that, there was a Family Dollar, and for a long time they actually sold movies. They think they got away from it, but when I was a kid, they had VHS really cheap, so I would go in there and get VHS tapes from time to time, and then they graduated to DVD, and I used to go in there and pick up DVDs as well. But I remember getting this in there really cheap. But this is a pretty cool cartoon. It's about a football team that gets transported back to the medieval times, and they become a superhero knight team, and they have to fight evil. Actually, like the Double Dragon cartoon, this is on Blu-ray, so I definitely want to pick that up, because there was a DVD, but the DVD went out of print, and it was expensive to get a hold of, but it has since come out on Blu-ray, which is pretty cool. So the episodes included here is Quest for Courage, The Search for Guinevere, and Warlord Knight. And it's just the single episodes. They're not edited together to make a film or anything. Then we have Chicken Run, which is an absolute classic. Love Chicken Run. I did not see the sequel because Mel Gibson is not in it. Because, Mel Gibson is crazy apparently, even though he's been right about everything. So there you go. But absolutely love this movie. Classic. I remember watching this in school. I think it was towards the end of the year, so we did not have much to do. So we would watch movies, and Chicken Run happened to be one of the movies that we watched. And this is another rental from the video store we used to, the mom and pop store we used to go to up here. Interesting. See, that's why I like doing this. I get to look at the tapes and find out where they came from, which is cool. So there you go. So next up we have Boom Shaka Laka Laka Boom Boom, which is one of the songs from this. But we have Hercules and Xena, the animated movie, The Battle for Mount Olympus, which is I think Hercules and Xena were at the peak of their popularity, so they made an animated movie, which is pretty cool. And it does have all the voices of the lead actors in here. So you have Kevin Sorbo, Lucy Lawless, Michael Hurst, and Renee O'Connor. which is very cool. But I have not watched this in forever. There is a DVD for this. I do have to pick that up at some point, but yeah, I have not watched this in many, many moons. I'll definitely have to pop this one in sometime here. And this one came from my grandparents because they would go to their local mom and pop video store and they would get movies for us for Christmas and birthdays and such. So that one came from there, which is nice. Yeah, but that's the only song I remember from that movie is the demons or the monsters or whatever they are that come up from hell. Even though I don't think they call it hell, I think they call it Hades because it's for kids. You can't say hell. But that's their song. Boom shaka laka laka boom boom, and that's been playing in my head for nearly 30 years now. So, there you go. Anyway, next up we have Little Giants, which I'm not sure where I got this. Might have been a thrift store or something of the such. Because actually, as a kid, I did have this on VHS, but it was on a recorded blank tape, and that tape I think broke and wore out and everything. So, but luckily, it was all from HBO. It didn't have any commercials or promos or stuff like that. It was just the movies themselves. No big deal. But love Little Giants. One of my probably not only one of my all-time favorite sports films, but I'd say this is my favorite football movie. And I'm not big on. I don't give a shit about football. So there you go. But I like movies about football. So there's that. But this one's definitely my favorite. Unfortunately, another movie stuck on DVD. I figured Warner Archive would have at least put it out on Blu-ray, but apparently not. Maybe they will license it to somebody else and get some features on there. But we'll see. Sorry, I'm all fucking stuffed up now from sneezing. Oh well. Next up, we have... Okay, that's interesting. We'll get to that in a minute. We have the Three Musketeers, the Disney version from the 90s, which is actually my favorite version of the Three Musketeers, to be perfectly frank with you. Can I still be Garth? See what I did there? But always really enjoyed this movie. Always had a lot of fun with this movie. Great cast, too. Charlie Sheen, Kiefer Sutherland, Chris O'Donnell, Oliver Platt. You had Tim Curry as the villain. Rebecca De Mornay was... I forgot her name in the film, but then her character commits suicide, which I always thought was odd to have in a Disney movie, but oh well. I think Paul McGann, the Eighth Doctor, is in this one, if I'm not mistaken. Michael Wincott plays the villain. How fitting, how appropriate. So there you go. But always loads of fun. That is on Blu-ray. I do need to pick that up on Blu-ray. I have it on DVD. I might even have it on Laserdisc. I'm pretty sure I have it on Laserdisc. So we'll see. Oh, but the oddity of it was this has to be a later printing because it has a blue tab at the top there. I don't think the original print did. So yeah, this might be a later printing of the movie. So there's that. Next up we have The Grinch, the Jim Carrey version, which I've always liked this movie. Can't complain. Always had fun with this one. And this actually was a Christmas gift one year from my mom because I remember looking for presents in the house and I found it. So there you go. We only have a few more on this shelf here. I felt it, sorry. My bad, dog. Anyway, so next up we have DuckTales the movie, Treasure of the Lost Lamp, which I always really liked this one. I liked that it was, DuckTales doing Indiana Jones for the most part, but always had fun with this. And this is, I think this is on Blu-ray. I think Disney Movie Club might have put it out. I do need to pick that up. But this is actually the only DuckTales VHS that I have. I need to get some of the other ones because I do like DuckTales. Woo! Sorry. Then we have Peter Pan. This is the 45th anniversary limited edition. I remember my mom getting this for us when this came out. So I've had this forever, and it is a part of the Walt Disney Masterpiece collection, which is very cool. And it does have, at the end of the movie, it does have a making of, which I always thought was pretty cool. I think that's all on the, DVD and Blu-ray releases, which is very cool. Damn, sorry, all sorts of shit going on. But this is actually one of my favorite Disney movies. A lot of people always ask me that. I don't give a shit about Disney now. You guys know this as well as I do, but back before they wanted to molest your children, they actually made some pretty damn good movies, and Peter Pan might be, if it's not my favorite, it's at least in the top 5 of animated Disney movies, and I know that covers quite a bit of ground, but I don't know. It was just always one that stuck out in my mind as being one of my favorites, so there you go. And then, of course, we have Hook, which is not a Disney movie, but I figured it's a clamshell, might as well put it with Peter Pan. So there you go. But Hook is a absolute classic as far as I'm concerned. I've had this forever as well. Like I said, a lot of these that I've had, for me watching them, it's got a little dust on there. Yeah, it's just a little dust, little fuzz on the tape itself. But yeah, for as many years as I've had a lot of these movies, a lot of them, most of them are actually in pretty damn good shape. Yeah, the packages are a little scuffed up. That's to be expected, but the tapes themselves look good, and most of them play fine. So I have to take a little breather because my face. So I will be right back. Don't you go changing. Okay, I'm back from taking care of some business, so don't worry. It's all good. So the last one on this shelf is actually, I would say this is another one of my favorite, all-time favorite Disney movies, and it's Fucking the Hound, aka Fox and the Hound. Now the reason why I said it like that is because apparently that's what I called it when I was little, and my grandmother thought it was the most hilarious thing that I called it Fucking the Hound, and I had no idea what I was saying, so there you go. I want to say, yeah, the actual tape in here is mine from back in the day, which still actually looks quite good. But we did not, for whatever reason, we did not have the box for it. I don't know if this was, because it's written on there, I don't know if this was a rental or we lost the box or what have you. So many years ago, there was a guy that I actually used to train with in martial arts, and he had asked me if I could transfer some VHS to DVD. Now, it was all stuff that's on DVD. I don't know why he asked me, but we were still in contact and everything. I was like, yeah, man, I'll do it. He goes, well, how much? I said, it's no big deal. And he goes, well, you can keep the tapes. He goes, I don't want the tapes back. I'm like, all right, cool. So I kept the ones that there was a couple that I wanted that I kept, and then Fox and the Hound he had. So I swapped the tapes out. I took the tape that was in here and got rid of it, and then I put mine in here because I didn't have the packaging. And what was also very cool is it still had all of the inserts and the ads and everything. So here, you can get a plush of Copper and Todd and other Copper and Todd for $2, and you have to buy another Disney movie, which is cool. And then there's just some other coupons in here and such, which is cool. Yeah, save $5 when you buy Fucking the Hound and another movie. So that's awesome. We got a Pocahontas video game ad for Sega Genesis and Super Nintendo. I don't think I've ever played that one. And then we got some other Disney movies on video at the time, which is cool. Mighty Ducks, Angels in the Outfield, Attack of the Killer Tomatoes. They put that out, so because I guess that was a sub-label, which is very cool. We got a bunch of stuff in here. We got Aladdin, Return of Jafar, So yeah, I kept all these, which is very nice. So not bad for free. So there's that, and that shelf is done. So let's move on to the bottom shelf, and I have to adjust all this anyway, so I'll just do it like this. So we'll save we'll save Power Rangers and such for the end of this shelf. So I'm actually going to work in the back forward. So we have Cool Runnings. Great movie. Classic film. Cannot go wrong with Cool Runnings. Not sure where I got this one. So there's that. Oh, get a little better angle on that one. My Bad Dogs. And then we have Dumbo. Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection, which I've had this one for ever and a day, as they say. Classic. Another one of my favorites, to be honest. That live action remake was terrible. I had to sit through that, sadly. But at least it was a paid request. At least I got paid for it. And then, of course, we have Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs. Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection here. Another one I've had for pretty much my entire life. And it's funny because I had to sit through this as a paid request. And I actually went to the theater, not this one, because this is a classic. This is one of the greatest movies ever made. It is. And it's the first Disney movie, animated film at least. I had to sit through that shitty remake, but at least I got paid. And I went to the theater and saw it because I actually cared about you. I still care about you people. But it's funny because there's a home video of me singing Hi-Ho. Just me yelling, little Fob yelling Hi-Ho in my basement. So there's that. Next up, we have 101 Dalmatians, the original animated classic. I would definitely put this, honestly, in the top 5 Disney animated films as well, at least for me. This is the Black Diamond collection. I think this might be one of the few that I have. Ooh, Black Diamond! Come on now. Come on, let's have some fun. But yeah, actually, I think this one, my aunt maybe gave me this one for whatever reason. I think maybe she had 2 copies, or she just said if you want it, you can have it, which is cool. And yeah, it has like a little doggy sticker on there. I don't know if it wants to close. I don't know if she put that on there or wherever she got it from put it on there. But I always thought that was interesting. But yeah, I think she just gave that to me. She's like, here, you want it? I was like, yeah, sure, because I didn't have it. And then we do have the live action 101 Dalmatians, which I saw this one in the theater back in the day, and I actually quite like it. I've not watched either of these in forever. But I actually quite like this one. I think this is definitely one of the better live action Disney remakes. Because this is, in the 90s, they were kind of experimenting a little bit with that. And my grandparents got me this one because it's from the video store they would rent from, and it does have all the ads and the paperwork in there, which is cool. So yeah. But I never saw the second one, 102 Dalmatians, so I don't know if that one's any good or not. But the first one, I quite like that movie. But like I said, I haven't watched it in forever. But yeah, like I said, they were experimenting with some of that in the 90s. Some were good, some were not good. So there you go. And then we have Arabian Nights, Arabian Day. Come on, you gotta have some fun now. Relax. But we have, of course, the original classic Aladdin, which is another of the Black Diamond releases. So this one I think was the same with Fox and the Hound, where actually I did have the packaging for it, but it was all like the front was ripped for some reason. So I think this was the same thing where my buddy asked me to transfer some of those, and he had Aladdin, So the tape is mine from back in the day, and I just switched out the packaging so I could have some fresh package on there. Get it? Got it? Good. And then we have Return of Jafar, which, same thing with this. I only had the tape, and I did not have the box for whatever reason. I think it got damaged or destroyed, and we threw it away. So I actually went on eBay and bought the cheapest copy I could find that was in good condition just to get the box. So there you go. And it's funny because the day that this showed up in the mail, I went to a Goodwill, and the Goodwill had at least, I think, 3 or 4 copies of this. I'm like, well, if I would have known, I would have just came here and bought one, but it's no big deal. At least I get to help out a small business owner on eBay. But good sequel. Always enjoyed this one. And now I finally have the packaging for it. And then, of course, we have Aladdin and the King of Thieves, which is quite fun. Which this was a really big deal when this came out because Robin Williams was in it. Robin Williams, famously or infamously, depending on how you look at it, was not in Return of Jafar because Disney breached their contract and they lied to him about using his name and everything in the marketing, and they had a beef for a while. But they did a public apology, which is what he wanted, and then he did Flubber, and then he did this. So there you go. And I enjoy Flubber, and I enjoy this. I don't know if they ever did a figure of Aladdin in the green, but I always thought that was really cool. I would love to get a toy of that if, again, they ever made one. But this one actually might be my favorite Aladdin movie. I know people are mad because I didn't say the original. But yeah, it might be the King of Thieves. We'll see. But I quite like these. Quite enjoy the Aladdin trilogy. So there you go. And of course, you got to have the old school clamshells. So there's that. Then we have Pinocchio. Another one of my favorites. Love Pinocchio. This is this might be one of the early Masterpiece collections, but it didn't have the logo on it. So yeah. And I had a Pinocchio. I remember as a kid. I never played the video game. Like there was a Sega Genesis game. I never played that one. But I do remember. I think when Aladdin came out, Burger King did these Disney glasses. The only one I ever had was Pinocchio. So I think it's gone now. But I'd like to get all those at one point. And then there's Figaro. Figaro. So there you go. But love Pinocchio. One of the all-time classics as far as I'm concerned. Then speaking of Flubber, we do have Flubber here on VHS, which sadly is another Disney movie that's only stuck on DVD. I do have it on DVD, but love Flubber. I did, I'm pretty sure this was a paid request on the old channel, and I had not seen the movie in forever, but it was good to go back and watch it because I love Flubber, and honestly, one of my favorite Robin Williams performances, and definitely one of his more underrated. You don't really hear people talk about Flubber. And this actually is a remake. This, people forget that Flubber is a remake from back in the day. But always enjoyed this one. Hopefully it'll get a Blu-ray one of these days. And I always say this, but in the trailer, at the end of the trailer, when Robin Williams sings, "Go, go, move your little flubber booty," that is not in the movie. They only put that in the trailer for whatever reason. Oh well. Then we have Cinderella, which again, Masterpiece collection. This, I definitely need to get a new clamshell for this because it's all busted up and it won't even close properly. But the tape itself, again, the tape itself is fine, which is weird. So even as a kid, I was taking care of my stuff for the most part. But Cinderella is a classic. You cannot go wrong. Pasta fazool, napadabu, pipiti papati poo, which I know is not the words, but it's my version. Actually, it was my grandfather's version because he used to sing it all the time. So there you go. Next up, not a Disney movie, but I did see this in the theaters as a kid, and this is another one that I have not watched in forever. Maybe for Easter, I'll watch it because it is appropriate for that time. But we have The Prince of Egypt. Yes, I always really enjoyed this movie. I did, again, see it in the theaters when it first came out, which is very cool. And I don't think I have. I don't have this on DVD. I do not know if it's on Blu-ray or not. I'd have to look into that. But yeah, this is one that I'm definitely probably going to watch around Easter. But always, again, quite enjoyed this. I love Steve Martin and Martin Short were the two goons, and they cracked me up. And I love their song, "You're playing with the big boys now." So, good stuff. Unfortunately, Mariah Carey sings the theme song. But I'll just, put the mute on for a bit. And when this came out on VHS, it did come with a plush of the camel. But I do not have that anymore. I don't know what happened to that. But still got this on VHS. I love Prince of Egypt. Like I said, I know there's a DVD. There might be a Blu-ray. I'm not sure. I'd have to look into that. Also, I lied to you guys. You know me. I lie about everything. The Wishbone movie, The Dog Days of the West, is not on DVD. The one that is currently on eBay is actually a bootleg, because I did look into it. It's like, I'm pretty sure, yeah, it's a bootleg. Oh well. Anyway, sorry. Lied to you guys. You know me, lie about everything. Alright. Next up, we have The Many Adventures of Winnie the Pooh, which is, again, Walt Disney masterpiece. I think I got this for Easter one year because I have a home movie of me opening this up. And I'm like, Winnie the Pooh! I was like, little Fob was excited. But yeah, this is the first, because I always forget, this is the first one. Then they did a sequel in the 90s, The Search for Christopher Robin. Then they did a Tigger movie. Then they did a Piglet movie. And then they came back. So, yeah. But this is the original immortal classic of Winnie the Pooh. And Tigger too. Next up we have Angels in the Outfield, which I actually got this at Blockbuster. Yeah. This is a former rental from Blockbuster. Because I did not have this one on VHS growing up. My grandparents did. I have their copy. So when me and my brother would go to their house, this is one of the Disney movies that we would always watch because we didn't have it. So that now we have our own copy. And of course I have it on DVD as well. But sadly this is stuck on DVD. There is no Blu-ray for this one just yet, unfortunately, but hopefully there will be. But one of my favorite baseball movies, you can't go wrong. Then we have, oh, this is actually my mom's, but I have it in here. And I actually kept this one. I didn't get rid of this one. But we have The Hills Are Alive with the Sound of Music. So long, farewell, until we meet again. I do, farewell to me and you. Come on, you know the fucking words. Don't be lying, alright? I did not realize this movie's almost 3 hours. Oh my god. Yeah, man, come on. You know you're out there doing that. Come on, you don't lie. Don't lie to yourselves. But again, another 20th Century Fox family feature release here. But yeah, this is my mom's. I just kept it for her. So there's that. It's actually one of my mom's favorite movies. So there's that. And I love how the back here, rated G, contains nothing that would offend parents for viewing by children. It's about Nazis, damn it! Like, come on! If only the Nazis would dance. There we go. We can remake The Sound of Music, and this time the Nazis can dance. That's all they wanted to do. Hitler wouldn't let them dance. All right, we got to stop with the Nazi stuff. Apparently, I'm a Nazi. Oh well. Anyway, the Aristocats, one of the all-time classics. Again, Walt Disney Masterpiece Collection. So there's that. Everybody wants to be a cat. So God forbid I have children and pass all this goofy shit off to them, and then there'll be little me's running around. Oh well. Then we have, I believe this was one that I kept. Yeah, this was one that I kept from my buddy when he wanted me to transfer some stuff. But we have The Rescuers. I don't have The Rescuers Down Under. I need to get that one. But this is the Black Diamond release. I think, no, that was Rescuers Down Under. Rescuers Down Under is the one where it has the frame of the naked lady in the window. Not the original, so there you go. But one of the more underrated Disney films, at least in my opinion, because you don't hear people talk about this one anymore, or the sequel for that matter. But I've actually always quite enjoyed both of these. So I need to get Down Under, and I need to get them on. I think they're on Blu-ray. I think there's a double feature out there. I need to get that. There's a bunch of Disney movies that I don't like. The Great Mouse Detective, I always really enjoyed that one. I don't have that one. Brave Little Toaster, I don't think my grandparents had any of those, so I have to make a list of the ones I'm looking for. Then we have The Jungle Book, classic here. This again is the Black Diamond release. I believe this was another one that my buddy wanted me to put on disc for him. The label fell off there, so we'll just put that inside. And I kept it because I never had this one growing up, and my grandmother never had it either. When we get to those, I will tell you a story about that. But you can't go wrong with The Jungle Book. The bare necessities, the simple bare necessities. Come on. You know the words. Don't lie. Don't be bashful. Come on now. And then, of course, we have the live-action remake of The Jungle Book from 1994. I love this. I really do. I used to watch this all the time as a little baby child. And unfortunately, this is stuck on DVD because I believe, from what I understand, there is a third party involved with this movie, and they do not want to work with Disney or what have you, which is why they have not put this out on Blu-ray. From what I understand, Disney actually would love to put this out, but because they do not have the okay from that third party, it's just not going to happen. Oh well. But yeah, good movie. Always really enjoyed this. Stephen Sommers, before he did The Mummy, did this movie, and I love the photoshopped head of Jason Scott Lee on the body there, which is cool. But again, always really enjoyed that film. And then I think Disney lost the rights to Jungle Book for a little bit, because I do remember they did like a prequel, like the Mowgli story or something like that, where he was a kid, and I think it was Johnny Tsunami, if I'm not mistaken. Sorry, I think he played Mowgli. And then wasn't there a series? Wasn't there a Jungle Book TV series? Or am I smoking crack? I don't know. Alright, so the last of the clamshells, actually, in general, the front shelf here is all Power Rangers and a couple Ninja Turtles titles here. So figured I'd save those for the end here, and then we'll move into the back shelf here. So first up, we have the movie Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, the movie. Sorry, this is not my original copy from when I was a kid, because that one went bye-bye. Not my choice, but gotta have this one on video. Doesn't have any of the goodies inside. And then we have Turbo, a Power Rangers movie. Again, this is not my original copy, because I did have these on a VHS growing up. But like I said, they magically disappeared. And I like this. This one has a black clamshell. It's a little more classy, which is nice. The Double Dragon one had a black clamshell. I forgot to mention that. Of course, the Grinch had green, which was cool. So there you go. Then we have Power Rangers Zeo Quest, which is just, they edited, not all of them, but they edited the episodes where they got turned into kids and they were looking for the Zeo crystals. They edited all that together to kind of make a movie. So there's that. And I think it might have some of the Alien Ranger stuff in here too. I have not watched this in quite a while, but yeah, it's all that. It's all the Zeo crystal stuff. And this one actually was kind of hard to come by for a little bit, because I remember going to a flea market, and I was like, "Oh, cool! I didn't have this one." And I looked at the sticker, and they wanted like $40 for it. I'm like, I'm not paying $40 for this. So yeah, I ended up passing on that. Then I found it way cheaper on eBay. So there you go. I mean, I'm trying to see. Yeah, 'cause it doesn't say anything about the Alien Rangers on the back here, but they might be in this. I'm not sure. But yeah, this one, kind of an interesting little video here. But Zeo, they only had that and the Christmas special were the only one. Oh no, there was the Halloween episode came out, and then the Christmas special was supposed to come out, and then they canceled it. But then it ended up getting released on a later tape, which we'll cover, down the road. And yeah, this is not all Power Rangers and Ninja Turtles. We'll definitely get to those later, because they're all the slipcovers. Then we have Power Rangers in Space, which this is the Psycho Ranger saga just edited together to make a movie. But it does not have, for whatever reason, in the middle of the Psycho Ranger saga, they aired one episode that had nothing to do with the Psycho Rangers. That is not included in here, for the obvious reasons. And then they cut out some of the kind of just fluff scenes and everything just to make it flow a little bit better. But yeah, I remember I never had this one as a kid, but I do remember renting this one a lot from the video store and the libraries and stuff back in the day, which is cool. And then we have Power Rangers Lost Galaxy, the return of the Magna Defender, which I think it's like half of the Magna Defender. It's not much, because I watched this not that long ago, and I remember it was more kind of some of the episodes that he wasn't in was more in here. So yeah, but got this one new because it still has. Well, it has the, like the toy insert, and then the hype sticker I just put on the inside there, which is cool. And what's funny, I just now noticed this. The label says Power Rangers in Space. That's probably a typo, so that's interesting. Instead of Lost Galaxy. I just now noticed that, so oh well. I did have the other. It's just called Power Rangers Lost Galaxy. I had that one, but I got rid of it. I did have some more, but I got rid of a bunch of them because they were coming out on DVD, and it was like the seasons I didn't really care about, but now things have changed, so I need to fill in the gaps here. So then we have Power Rangers Lightspeed Rescue, the Titanium Ranger Curse of the Cobra. So there you go. I do have one of the other Lightspeed Rescue tapes. I think it's the finale. I just got that recently. I just haven't watched it yet. I did have a couple. I had the first Lightspeed Rescue tape. I actually got that as a kid at Toys R Us, and then I got rid of it for whatever reason. Lightspeed Rescue is still one of my least favorite seasons, but it has grown on me, so I can't complain. And again, these are all, they just take the episodes and they edit them together to kind of make a movie. So there's that. And then I actually have all the Time Force tapes. So we have Power Rangers Time Force, Force from the Future, which is the 2-part premiere, and then I think it's the 3rd episode as well. Just edited together to make a film. Then we have the Quantum Ranger Clash for Control, which is the first couple Quantum Ranger episodes in here. Then we have Dawn of Destiny, which is that story arc. And then we have Photo Finish, which this was actually a Toys R Us exclusive back in the day. And it has the Movie Madness 2-part episode and then Full Exposure, which actually has the bad guy, well, he wasn't the bad kid from Johnny Tsunami. He was in that episode as a photographer. So, but yeah, this was a Toys R Us exclusive. One of the Lightspeed Rescue tapes was a Toys R Us exclusive, and then there's another one which we'll get to in a moment here. Then we have The End of Time, which is the finale of Time Force, which I've had this one forever. I've actually had this one since I was a kid. I don't know what the fuck is going on with the artwork here, because like they added like a random tire to the Red Ranger's armor, because I don't remember him having a tire in his armor. So there you go. And this is the Disney re-release. Fox Kids actually put all the Time Force stuff out, I believe. And then this one, yeah, because all the other ones I have, actually no, Dawn of Destiny is Disney. The rest of them are from Fox Kids. So maybe I'll see if I can track down the Fox Kids versions. Maybe they have different commercials on them. I don't know. And then the only Wild Force tape I have is Curse of the Wolf. I think I had all the Wild Force tapes at one point, and then I got rid of them. But these are all very easy to find, so there you go. All the hard to find ones I have. The common ones I don't have, so there you go. And then this is the other Toys R Us exclusive that came out. This is Red Alert, which was just a couple episodes from different seasons that feature the Red Ranger that they put out. So from Mighty Morphin, you have Two Heads Are Better Than One, which is not really a Red Ranger episode. It's Tommy and Jason. And then you have Mission to Secret City from In Space, which is where Andros got his battleizer. And then Beware the Night from Time Force, where the Red Ranger got his battle armor. So there you go. But yeah, that was also a Toys R Us exclusive. And then we have two of the three Beetleborgs VHS here. So first up, we have the Curse of the Shadow Borg, which both of these I would rent all the time back in the day from the video stores and libraries and such. But I never had these as a kid. I didn't get these till much later on. And then we have Beetleborgs Metallics, the movie, which again, these are just the proper story arcs edited together to make a movie. And yeah, I did not, again, have either of these, but I would always be watching them as a kid. And then they did another Beetleborgs release as a standard slipcover, which we'll get to later on. And then we have Mystic Knights of Tir na Nog, which is the first couple episodes edited together when they all got their armor and powers and everything. And this is the only home video release this ever got here in America. Sadly, this one has never come out on DVD. I think in Germany it did, but it does not have the English audio. It's only the German audio. So there you go. And I did get this at the video store that used to be where my cousins lived. So very cool. But always enjoyed this show. Can't go wrong. The only non-tokusatsu show that Saban did. And then we got a couple more here. Well, this is Power Rangers related, but it's Austin St. John's Karate Masters VHS that he did. They also released it as a slipcover. I have that released as well. But I guess because this came out in 95, I guess because they did the Green Ranger one, he did this one to compete. But I actually like both. This one has these little like staged fight scenes, which I thought was cool. And I think the stunt guys were all the guys from Power Rangers as well. But yeah, I like both of them, so I can't complain. And then I do have a couple Ninja Turtle clamshells here, because I think these were the only two that came out as clamshells. The rest are all slipcovers, which we'll get into those again down the road. So first up, we have the double feature of Coming Out of Their Shells and the making of Coming Out of Their Shells, which I think this one was a little bit harder to come by at one point. I don't know if it still is. This is actually the second copy that I had. I had a copy of this before, but someone had taped over it. They taped, I don't remember what, I think it was some kids programming, but it didn't have any commercials or anything. But I don't know how that happened. So I got this one, and this one actually has what it says is on it, not whatever someone hit record by accident. And there you go. But yeah, gotta love it. Pizza Power. It's weird because I like the songs. Yeah, they're goofy and everything, but I like the songs, but I just didn't care about the live show, and Shredder looked like a cardboard cutout and everything. But the music I did like, so I can't complain too much. And then I do have Ninja Turtles: The Next Mutation, which this is the 5-part East meets West premiere edited together to make a film. I did not have this as a kid, but this is another one that I do remember renting from the video store quite a bit back in the day. And also, for those of you that don't know, this is when Saban had this, and they tried to make it like Power Rangers, and they crossed over and everything. So there you go. But that only ever got that as a release here in America. I do actually have some of the overseas releases for whatever reason. So we'll go maybe another 10-15 minutes here, and we'll start getting into this shelf over here, which this is more of the bigger packaging and such that I have. So we'll just go ahead and do that. So first on top here, I do have, as I said, I do have other releases of the first 3 Rocky movies. So these are early release. I think these are from the early 80s. Yeah, these are early 80s releases when VHS was still kind of in coming into its own, coming into its thing. So CBS Fox Video would do this packaging where you just open up the side and the tape slides out. So I do have a bunch of these releases. They did do, again, the first 3 Rocky movies, excuse me. Then we have Rocky 2, which the tab got ripped off because a lot of people would do that because they were just too lazy to open up the tab and slide the tape out. But these, a lot of these older releases are pretty hard to come by now, especially in good condition. As you can see, these have definitely seen some better days. And then I do have Rocky 3. Rocky 4 did not have one. I think they stopped doing this kind of packaging right before Rocky 4 came out, because I want to say the James Bond movie, A View to a Kill, might have been the last one that they did in that packaging. I do have some of the Bond films here. So those were on top. I want to make sure everything in the back of the top shelf and half of the front is wrestling. So we'll cover the other stuff first. So yeah, we got some more bigger box packaging here, as I call it. A lot of people call these book cases or library cases or what have you, but I just call them big box packaging. So this is actually the original release of Enter the Dragon on VHS. This is before it was Warner Brothers Home Video. It was WCI, Warner Communications International, I suppose, Home Video. So again, this is the original release of that, and it's pretty cool because it just opens up again like a book. You get all your cast notes here, and I did put the tape in upside down. My bad. And there you go. So there's that. And then MGM did something very similar. So I have a few of the Chuck Norris releases here. I do have the Missing in Action movies. I just haven't watched them yet. So we have Forced Vengeance. And same thing. They just open up like a book. And you get your cast information and the tape. And then we have Invasion USA, which this one Has definitely seen some better days. I think I glued this when I got it. It was destroyed, and the guy didn't say that. So I think I glued it back together, but it would appear that the glue has dried out. So I might have to do some work on this one, or I'll just find another one that's in better shape if I can. So there's that. And then again, they also did the first two Missing in Action movies, which I do have. I just haven't watched them yet. And then we have Ninja 3, The Domination. I do not have Enter the Ninja or Return of the or Revenge of the Ninja. I don't have those in this style packaging, so I need to get that. And then again, same thing here. But now, because VHS is cool and everybody wants them, these are getting harder and harder to find, and they're more expensive, and again, finding them in good shape and everything too. Then they did the first American Ninja in this style, because the first American Ninja was the only one that MGM released back in the day. When they got the rights to the first three, they re-released them later on, in regular slipcovers. And then we have a couple Charles Bronson movies here. So first up we have 10 to Midnight. And then we have Death Wish 3, which I'm pretty sure I got this one at the video store where my cousins lived, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure I got this one there pretty cheap. And as you can see, a lot of the fronts are sun faded. This one luckily is not, but because that's what they would do. They would just put them out in the sun. And then the last one that I have in this style packaging from MGM, this one is very sun faded, but we have The Pope of Greenwich Village. Absolutely love this movie, one of my favorites. Hey, West Coast Video. Remember West Coast Video? So that's everything on that shelf that we're going to cover. Again, the rest of it is all wrestling VHS, so we already covered that stuff. So I'll just put these back quickly, and then we'll jump down to the second shelf, and we'll get rocking and rolling on that stuff for a few more minutes here, and then we'll jump back in part 5 with that. So the stuff that's on the second shelf is that's wrestling. We already covered that. A lot of these type of cases, the video stores back in the day, they would chop them up like the ones you would get at Blockbuster. So it's a lot of these and similar packaging, which I think most of the back is wrestling, so I will just knock out the front here and get that done, and then we'll just jump down to the next shelf for the next part. Actually, you know what? I will do it this way. I will switch gears just slightly. So I do have some more of the like the slide out book packaging, because they didn't fit on the top shelf because I shuffled some things around and I moved them to the bottom shelf. So these are the two James Bond movies I have in this packaging. So these were the first releases of them on VHS that you could at least buy. Fox did this program. It was called the Video Rental Library. That's the first release of Star Wars. I have that, which we'll cover in a minute here. I think they did Rocky. They did a lot of the James Bond movies, but those were just for rent. Now you can get them, but back in the day they were a little bit harder to get a hold of. But oh well. So we have Dr. No, which this is the 20th Century Fox Video, and then it was CBS Fox Video, and then they went back to 20th Century Fox Video. But they had the James Bond movies for a while. So I have Dr. No, and then I also have On Her Majesty's Secret Service, which I believe I got this one again at the video store where my cousins lived. This one has seen some better days, but it was pretty cheap and pretty hard to come by now. So if I ever find a better condition, I'll keep that. And then, as I mentioned, I do have the Bruce Lee movies in this packaging as well. So, and then same thing, for whatever reason, they released Chinese Connection first to make the spine match, even though that was the second Bruce Lee film. So we have, again, Chinese Connection, aka Fist of Fury, one fist. Then we have The Big Boss, aka Fists, plural, of Fury. Then we have Return of the Dragon. And then Game of Death. Which the artwork with these and the slipcover releases are very similar. I like the packaging on those, so I wanted to get that. So the rest of these, are more, like these harder cases that you would find at the video stores. So I have Murphy's Law, former rental, and this is the original media release, which is why I did have Murphy's Law on VHS before, but it was the Video Treasures cheapo reprint, so got rid of that one. I actually got that. There was a guy that I used to be friends with. His parents were having a yard sale, and they were getting rid of all their all their VHS, and they let me get them first, and I bought that, and I think I still have Eraser from them. So I got a bunch. And then we have Kinjite, Forbidden Subjects, which same thing. This is a former rental, because that's a lot of the rental stores would do that. They would cut the boxes up and put them in these hard cases, and then when they would sell them, they would just do that. Then we have Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. This is the speaking of Anchor Bay, this is the Video Treasures dissolved into Anchor Bay. I forgot to give you the middle part of that transition there, my bad. This is the Anchor Bay release, which I think has the trailer at the end of the movie. It might. But it's in widescreen. I got this at one of the horror conventions, and then the inside has some artwork and information and stuff. A lot of the collector's editions that they did had this. So there you go. And then I have a bootleg of Army of Darkness. This is Army of Darkness, The Medieval Dead. This is the international version of the movie, which does have some different scenes in it, and also the alternate ending where Ash takes too much of the potion and he wakes up in the post-apocalyptic world. But yeah, I think I found this on eBay pretty cheap. So yeah, I don't have an official copy of Army of Dark. I actually had a couple Army of Darkness VHS tapes at one point, but I got rid of them because at the time I was not collecting VHS like you can see behind you or in front of you here. And then we have Diner special edition, because Warner Brothers was doing these special editions in this packaging. This is actually a screener, but I kept this one because I don't have this. When I get the official release, I'll get rid of this one because it doesn't have anything extra that the official release doesn't. It does have the movie, the trailer, an introduction from Barry Levinson, the director, and the actors, and then there's a making of, which all ended up to the DVD. But, I'd like to keep that kind of stuff on VHS, so there's that. Then I got some bootlegs here. I bought these when I was in Estonia, when I was in the army, we went just like out on the town one day, and I found this little thrift shop, and they had like bootleg. I'm pretty sure these are bootlegs, like bootleg Russian VHS tapes. So I just figured, fuck it, I'll buy them. So we got Robin Hood, and I'm sure they're in Russian. I don't know if they'll play here or not. I'll check it out, but we'll see. And they were like so surprised that I bought these. Then we have Aladdin. And then we have a double feature of Beethoven and Beethoven 2. So, yeah, I just said, fuck it, man. You know, if they don't play here, it's not that big of a deal. I just have them as kind of collectibles. But yeah, I figured, what the fuck, man? If I'm in another country, might as well buy some VHS. See what's happening. So this is what I mentioned before. This is the original release of Star Wars on VHS. This is the video rental library. Before there were video stores, you would go to certain places or you would go to libraries or what have you, and they would have movies to rent. And Fox had this program where they did this. Again, the first Rocky came out through here. I believe A Fistful of Dollars came out through this program. And these are getting harder and harder to find because people want these. Because, again, these are, especially for Star Wars and such, these are the original VHS releases of these movies. I actually got lucky and found this at a thrift store for $1, so I can't complain. And they all have a sticker here that tells you the number of the tape, because they would all be numbered so they could keep track of them back in the day. They're also harder to find with the sticker intact because, again, the glue dries out and they fall off, and there's that. So I think this one fell off, but I re-glued it. So there you go. But yeah, this is the rookie, as people call it, VHS release of Star Wars from House of Video from some college in California. So there you go. So very cool. So there's that. And the fact that I found it at a thrift store for $1, I am not complaining. We got another bootleg here. I found this at a thrift store as well, but we have Blade. I found this weird bootleg of Blade. It has the movie in widescreen, and then it has the trailer and the alternate ending. So I assume they either pulled this off of the DVD or the Laserdisc and just was trying to get the movie out there as a bootleg. But I did watch it. It is the full movie, and it's got, again, the trailer and the alternate ending on there, which is cool. I'd like to watch this again sometime soon, but I think they either pulled this off of the DVD or the Laserdisc, so good old fashioned bootlegs there. And I do have the official release of Blade as well up top somewhere. And then a couple more here, and then actually I should probably put all my bootlegs together. I have another bootleg here. We have Beavis and Butthead Uncensored Volume 1, which this is when you could not get certain episodes of Beavis and Butthead because they pulled them out of circulation and stuff because they were upset that kids would try to emulate the things that they saw and all that shit because parents are fucking dumb. So you have Frog Baseball and Peace, Love, and Understanding, which were the two original shorts from Liquid Television, because those rarely re-aired for whatever reason. Those were very difficult to find for quite a while. Kidnapped is on here because there's references to fire, because back in the day this kid set his trailer on fire and said he watched it on Beavis and Butthead, but then they found out that the kid lied because they found out that he never had cable, so he wasn't able to watch Beavis and Butthead. So there you go. Eating contest, the closing scene, Beavis feeding bratwurst to a frog, was edited for the reruns. At the movies, where they light fireworks off, that got cut. Comedians, where they burned down the Comedy Store or whatever, that got re-edited. Scientific stuff got re-edited because there was a reference to the Challenger disaster. Stewart's house, where they're sniffing gas, that I don't think ever re-aired. And then Way Down Mexico Way, where they go to Mexico and they have to smuggle drugs. They put the drugs in the condoms and they swallow the condoms. That I don't think ever re-aired. But luckily through the internet and everything, you can find all these episodes uncut. But back in the day, before that was a thing, you had to do what's in my hand here. You had to do tape trading. So there's that. And then I have Night of the Comet, which is just a former rental. They cut the box up, but it is the original CBS Fox video release, and I did find this at a thrift store or something, so found it for $1. Not going to complain. And then we have a screener of The Crow, Stairway to Heaven, which has the pilot, The Soul Can't Rest, and then Birds of a Feather, which has Bobby Phillips from the Black Scorpion and a bunch of other stuff. She was the female Crow. I don't think that episode ever came out on home video. The pilot did. The pilot did get a release here in America. Retail wise, I'm so excited. I'm throwing my shit around, and then there's the tape. But I think the only way it came out was this screener. Which this one you can actually find very, very easily online. I see this one all the time. And then last but certainly not least, we will wrap up with these. This is actually a dubbed copy of The Godfather 1902 through 1959. My cousin actually had these and made copies for us way back in the day. So there you go. So I still held on to these, and I actually tried, because I covered up the tab here, I actually tried to record these to DVD, but it didn't work. But that's okay, because I have this version on DVD anyway. Alright, cool. So next time we'll jump down to the bottom shelf of this, or the bottom row of this shelf here. We'll wrap that up, and then we'll start working. There's some stuff on the edge, and then we'll start working on the back there. So that'll be, we'll get that rocking and rolling in part 5. So we'll catch you guys on the next one. I'm going to take a little breather, put this shit back, and then we'll start working on the other stuff. Later!